the public treasury and said, "I cannot remain the treasurer of Bani Umayyah." So, Walid sent him to Medina. When he came to Medina, Uthman ordered his servant, Yamum, to punish Ibn Masud. On the instructions of Uthman, Yamum threw Ibn Masud on the ground, crippling him. He remained bedridden for 2 years, and then passed away. During these 2 years, Uthman kept his government allowance suspended. Ansa Abu al-Ashraf, Volume 5, pg. 36, Tariq Yaqubi, Volume 2, pg. 147, Mustadrak Hakim, Volume 3, pg. 13, 27. Those familiar with the sources on early Islam know Ali ibn Husayn Masudi Shafi'i died 345 AH very well. Masudi is a very reliable and honest Islamic historian and geographer who is relied upon by all the schools of thought. He has written a very interesting, excellent, and authentic 4-volume book on history, entitled Maruhuz Zahab. Therein it is mentioned that when Uthman was assassinated, he left behind 150,000 gold dinars and 1,000,000 silver dirhams. Also, his properties in Wadi al-Qura and Hunain were worth 100,000 gold dinars. He also left an unspecified number of horses and camels. Volume 2, pg. 341, 28. Yala ibn Umayyah, who is also called Yala ibn Munia because his mother's name was Munia, was a revenue officer during the rule of Uthman. When he died, he left behind 500,000 gold dinars. In addition to this, people owed him a huge sum of money that he had lent them. The value of his property and other things that he left came to 300 dinars. 29. Masudi writes that Talha ibn Ubaydiyah had constructed a magnificent palace in Kufa. Talha's income from his properties in Iraq alone reached 1,000 gold dinars. The income from the Shara area was more than this. In Medina, Talha had built his house with baked bricks, mortar and expensive wood. Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas also had constructed a huge magnificent palace. 30. Masudi writes that Zubair ibn Awam had a palace constructed in Basra. He owned properties in Alexandria and Basra. He died leaving behind 50,000 dinars, 1,000 horses, 1,000 male and female slaves and unspecified properties in various cities. Abdur Rahman ibn Awf Zuri had constructed a palatial mansion. There were 1,000 horses in his stables. He owned 1,000 camels and 10,000 goats and sheep. He was survived by 4 widows, each of whom inherited 84,000 gold dinars. Zayd ibn Thabit died leaving such a huge quantity of gold that hammers were called to break up the pieces for distribution. His movable and unmovable property was worth 100,000 dinars. 31. If Imam Ali had not suppressed the Khawarij, all the pious and religious Muslims would have gradually adopted the Khariji dogma. And if people had become Kharijis, neither Shia Islam would have survived till today nor would Sunni Islam. That is why, after the Battle of Nahrawan, the Imam said in one of his sermons, which is also mentioned in Naj al-Balagha, that, "O people, I have smashed the eye of mischief and corruption and no one else could have dared to do this." Persons who recited prolonged ritual prayers, without spirituality and without understanding of the divine reality marifat. Sanctimonious and apparently very devoted people, they were such that it was only Imam Ali who could eliminate them. Even Imam Hassan and Imam Husayn could not have accomplished this task. Through this operation, Imam Ali saved the dying Islam and showed to the world that apart from the Islam of Quraysh and Islam of Khawarij, there was another Islam. Role of the Imams in Revival of Religion, Volume 2, Allama Saeed Murtaza Askari. Shares. Bani Umayyah. Regarding the following verse of the Quran, it is said that it denotes the Bani Umayyah. And when we said to you, "Surely your Lord encompasses men," and we did not make the vision, which we showed you but a trial for men and the cursed tree in the Quran as well, and we cause them to fear, but it only adds to their great inordinacy. 17. 60. One day when Muawiyah was dragging the bridle of the camel of Yazid while the latter was following behind, the Holy Prophet said, "Allah's curse be upon the holder of bridle and the one who follows." 2. Abdullah ibn Umar narrates that, the Holy Prophet said, "A man is coming, who will not die as a Muslim." And we saw that Muawiyah had come, because he had got Ammar killed. Muawiyah could be identified as the head of rebels as the Holy Prophet had foretold Ammar that a rebellious group would kill him. 3. Muawiyah was the son of Abu Sufyan and that hind who had chewed the liver of Hamza in the battle of Uhud. Abu Sufyan was the chief of the Meccan army which had fought the Messenger of Allah. It is mentioned in Musnad Ahmad ibn Hanbal that Muawiyah used to drink wine and ruled in the name of Islam. 4. Muawiyah revived the pre-Islamic 5 practice and declared that Ziyad ibn Sumayya was his brother and made him his family member, though the Holy Prophet had clearly stated that the child belongs to the bed on which it is born, and the adulterer has to be stoned to death. Muawiyah used poisoned honey 6 to eliminate righteous persons and used to boast, Allah has battalions of honey. Muawiyah had armed a number of bandits to plunder, to kill women and children, and to set houses on fire. Muawiyah was an expert fraudster and liar. Muawiyah hated those who demanded their rights and sought justice. Muawiyah ordered that the righteous believers be cursed. The caliphate that should be based on democracy and consultation was transformed into hereditary rulership by Muawiyah. His past had nothing worthy of mention and he had nothing that could entitle him to caliphate. Regarding him, the Holy Prophet said, "May Allah not fill his belly." 7. On the pretext of retaliation for Uthman's murder, Muawiyah raised Uthman's blood-smeared shirt and displayed the severed fingers of Uthman's wife, Nayla, on the pulpit and instigated the people to revolt against Imam Ali. Muawiyah managed to become the ruler of Muslims due to Aisha and her camel, because of Qasim and Ibn Muljam the Khawarij, because of the ignorance of the Syrians and Iraqis, the worldliness of the people and their attitude, and the steadfastness of Imam Ali's faith. Among the factors that Muawiyah used to his advantage, the most important was the display of Uthman's blood-smeared shirt. The famous German Orientalist, Wellhausen, writes in his book, Tariq ad-Dawlat al-Arabiya, 1958. 8. Claim for the blood of Uthman was the basis on which Muawiyah founded his goal so that he might take possession of the caliphate. However, how the demand for Uthman's blood became a cause of Muawiyah's success and why Muawiyah put forward such a claim is a different matter. What is undeniable is that in order to achieve his objective, he joined hands with Amr ibn As, who was Uthman's arch-enemy. It is also a fact that piety and goodness towards Uthman or his survivors were not behind Muawiyah's revolt. Imam Ali defended Uthman, whereas Talha, Zubair, Aisha, Muawiyah and Ibn Az instigated people to kill him. When Uthman was killed, they rebelled against Imam Ali and demanded retaliation for Uthman's murder. Talha and Zubair were killed in the Battle of Jamal. The legs of Aisha's camel were cut off and the defeated Aisha was returned to Medina in a respectful manner. In the Battle of Siffin, Muawiyah and Amr ibn Az escaped by raising the Holy Quran on spears. If they had not resorted to this deception, they would have also met the fate of the people of Jamal. Muawiyah returned from Siffin determined to make life difficult for Ali and his Shias. Surprise night attacks, massacres and plunder. All Islamic territories except Syria were under the rule of Imam Ali. Iraq, Hijaz, Yemen, Egypt, Iran and others were under the control of the Central Islamic government and acknowledged the authority of Imam Ali. But Muawiyah, whom the Imam had dismissed from the governorship of Syria, had declared himself to be the de facto ruler at Damascus. After forming a state within a state, he armed thieves and robbers like Nu'man ibn Bashir, Yazid ibn Shajara, Muslim ibn Uqba, Za'ik ibn Qays Fari, Abdur Rahman ibn Kaith, Zuhair ibn Makul, Sufyan ibn Awf Ghamidi, Busr ibn Abi Artad, and told them to plunder and destroy properties in the territories under the control of Imam Ali. Below are a few specimens of the activities of those persons commissioned